Hey, good morning. I am finally back at the boat. It's been many months, and I'm happy to have a 4-day weekend here in July to get some work done. Let me tell you what the overall plan is, at least the idea right now. I have a roughly 2-year plan to get this boat slowly into very good shape, to take it offshore, and the dream is to take it around the world. I'm not absolutely certain that I am psychologically up to the task on a 25-foot boat to do a solo circumnavigation. However, that is the dream, and that's what I'm working toward right now. We'll find out. I do expect at least to take the boat from the Pacific Northwest to the United States here and head down south toward Mexico and then to the western coasts of the various Central American countries. And from there, make a decision about whether or not to head west over the open ocean there, head further south, or perhaps head over to Hawaii, also west, of course. Also, quite a journey. But then return back here to the Pacific Northwest. I don't know exactly what the future will hold in those terms, but that's the idea. That's what I'm aiming for, and that's what I'm working toward right now. So, in light of that goal, there are many things I need to take care of on the boat, and I can't get it done within a short period of time. One, because I live so far away from the boat, and time away from home is not easy. And two, financially, there's a lot involved here. So speaking of those projects, here are the things I want to get done on the boat. So yeah, there's a lot to do, and I hope that you'll follow along on the journey. I don't know if I'll put out a ton of videos, again, because I'm so far from the boat. I won't be able to put out weekly videos or anything like that, but I will continue to update my YouTube channel and present you with what's happening as I go along. The first bit of work that I've been doing is to get rid of some of the clutter. Primarily that's the old cushions. There were some cockpit cushions that were oversized and I simply don't use, and there were some extra cushions here in the cabin that really, for one person, all they did was take up space. They were nice covers and so forth, but I need more room in this boat. So down here on the bilge, you see we've got these grounding wires here that are all connected to studs, which are the backside of a grounding plate on the outside of a hull. And we've got at least one here that's the eye. I don't know even what it's called. The eye, well, whatever, is broken on the right hand side there. You can't see it, but I've got a. I don't have a wrench here for some reason. I got to go get to the car and grab those off, and I'll clean up the connections and replace that as needed. God, I just had the word. Anyways, the question is also, though, this is stranded wire, and it's clearly very corroded. So I wonder if there's, even if I replace this, is that going to provide an electrical connection, a grounded connection? Boat work. There's always more to it than meets the eye. Okay, little by little, I've got a new lug for the one that was busted. I reconnected all those pieces there. It seems, at least for the most part, the connections are good. I didn't check them all. I was concerned I would have to start rewiring all of the grounding connections. At least for the time being, I'm not going to do that. I do still have to do this terminal. These all seem solid, but the ring terminals, as I find they are called, some of them are oversized. These are 1/4 inch studs, and they had like 3/8 inch or 7/16 inch ring terminals on there, which are just too big. But again, I think for right now they're okay, and I'm going to move on to other things. The next little bit is the drinking hose. The tank I have over here, it's it's underneath the quarter berth, and well, the hose is super old, and I mean it needs to be replaced. Luckily, it's only a run over here to the galley sink. I don't know if you could see up there, but not too far. There's another run here that goes to the sink that's in the head, but I'm going to discontinue this one. I don't use that sink at all, and if I decide I want to use it, I'm going to make it a saltwater tap anyways, instead of a freshwater tap. But what I want to do is I want to make it easy to drain this tank. Okay, I've got temporarily this new drinking water hose installed. It's not fastened. I need to replace some of these zip ties that I can screw into the side here, and I'm going to tee it. I got this tee right here. I'm gonna reuse that tee so that I can essentially have a drain. It'll be a siphon into the bilge, so I can drain the tank whenever I want. And so that's not set up yet, but the water's working right now. Again, which is good. It's till about quarter till just a few minutes before 6 p.m. and been up for a bit. Starting to wear down here a little bit. I'm gonna get some food. Probably just recharge my batteries, that is my personal batteries, and then start again tomorrow early in the morning. Okay, I've got the water supply hose changed out, and what I did was, instead of, as I mentioned earlier, instead of having a supply to the head sink, freshwater supply that is, I teed this off, or I use this part of the tee right here to provide a drain, so that I can drain this tank when needed. It may not be necessary, but in the near future. But I think it's good to have in case you get some sort of contamination in there, or whatnot. You just dump it right into the bilge. So it's just a plug here. I'm going to put a clamp on that. But should be okay. Well, it's not terribly pretty, but I got the new mainsail tack installed, and this one allows for the dog bone of the mainsail and the luff of the mainsail to clip in. This is the old one, and it's virtually the same, except for, you see obviously that these have horns that weren't curled over. So that will allow me, I'm hoping at least, I haven't tested it yet, but that I could use this as the main reef point. And then I won't have to rely on this. Yeah, so they just had a couple of shackles just tied around the base of the mast, essentially. And I don't know why that was a good idea. I don't like it. I'm hoping this works with this new tack, but these horns here. So, well, we'll see. Okay, tackling again this wiring from the mast. I've rewired it. I'm going to. This is all heat shrink quick connects. I'm going to heat shrink those down, and then I'll put a wrap of electrical tape over them. I don't care for electrical tape, but these aren't, they're not covered otherwise, so we'll do that. And light works. Probably get another bulb for it. The only issue I have now is that the anchor light, I can't see it during the day here, so I'm not real sure if it's working. But you know, this is a mess. Primarily the mess is GPS and the Garmin, the old Garmin unit is kind of making a rat's nest in here with power and so forth. But now I've gone ahead and added some of these pieces, which isn't helping. The bus bar is simply a screw. Yeah, not a great idea. I'll put some electrical tape around that also. I need to put a bus bar up in here somewhere, and that'll be a lot nicer. But I need to think about these things a little bit before I jump into them, because this could take days and days to redo this. But anyway, so if I can get that light back up, that's this light right here, and all the lights are working. That is the anchor light. I know the steaming and the deck light are working. Then I can button this back up. I don't think it's leaking anymore. It's still on my to-do list to get up there and mitigate that leak. But for right now, I want to get this taken care of. Oh, that's my multimeter. It's telling me to turn it off. Okay, anyways, hopefully that deck light is, or rather the anchor light is actually glowing. I just can't see it. And that way we can button that up. So on to the next project. Oh, next project, and it's not much of a project, but this DC control panel is screwed right into the fiberglass, and the fiberglass is now worn out. They've got some of these little pieces right here, which I'm not real fond of because they're metal, but the top and the sides here are all, they don't hold screws anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and put a backing piece of, I'm just going to use some of these, which are like little 1/8 inch pieces of stir sticks, cut little squares out and glue them behind, and then drill through, and that should be okay for the time being. I was going to use some starboard, but I don't have a decent saw here for it, and the starboard is what, 1/4 inch? No, it's more like 3/8 inch thick, so it's a little overkill for this anyways. Hey, good morning. I'm back at it again. I've got the light back up, as you might be able to see. Light is back up, it's working. I've got some G4 bulbs on order that are red, so I'll use that as my daytime, or rather nighttime light. And then I'll work, I'm going to go back up the mast today, or partially so anyways, to get some measurements, and then I will work to put the mainsail on. I just used my mast mate again to go up to the top of the sail, or top of the mast rather. Not sponsored, but it works out really well. Really pretty simple to use. Just slugs that slide right in the sail track. And you tie it off at the top with your main halyard, possibly another sheet for security. And while you're kind of close to the mast and you can swing around a little bit, I tend to use the shrouds here to steady myself. And lucky for me, this small boat doesn't have a very tall mast. So I went to the masthead to look at all the wiring, how it entered the mast, the connections up top. I took some pictures of the top of the roller furling, things like that, things you don't see every day, to check on them and to find out what the status is. So, back again now. I've got some measurements, took some notes, and now I'm going to go ahead and lower down that mast mate and hank on the mainsail. So before I get started with the mainsail, I wanted to show you this. This, I think you can see that basically right down here, that black tube sticking out of the side of the bilge. I believe that is a transducer, an ST800 transducer through hull from Airmar, without the actual transducer installed. Now I'm not sure about that, but I was trying to find what I could use to put a transducer in there, because I'd really like to have speed through the water. GPS, real simple to get speed over ground, but through the water will give you, with that, comparing the two will give you some information about currents and such. So I was looking online regarding the various speed transducers, and they're all god-awful expensive. And I don't have a problem paying the money. My problem is that, they're all going wireless now, which is more of an electric consumption. I prefer wired only because if there's a problem, it's a problem with your connections and not with the technology behind it in most cases. And I just want simple, redundant, simple, and you can't find that stuff anymore except for on the used market. Anyways, I'm also a little discouraged that that's plastic through hull and not bronze. So I'm gonna have to research that more, but yeah, I guess we're gonna have to spend just more money to get a decent transducer with a display. I mean, I guess possibly my idea of using a bike computer could work, but we'll see. I've got one on the way for the anemometer. But all right, well, let's get that mainsail hanged on there. Well, I didn't put the mainsail on yet. Actually, I had a couple of Monster drinks in here for my downward trip. I thought maybe I want them for overnight. Never ended up drinking them. They blew up, and so the bilge smells god-awful. So I'm going to try to rinse it out. If I can put enough water in there, I'm hoping it'll take care of that. So we'll see.
Perhaps more troubling still is the bilge pump is not working. So now with a full bilge, I've got to figure that out.
Well, it turns out this is probably a good issue. Well, first of all, I'm glad I know that my pump doesn't work. I wish it did, but I just have this SPX flow, which includes a switch. There's an automatic switch installed with it, and it's got 3 leads to it. Well, one is ground, one is constant, and one is an override for an override switch. I don't know where they go. I've never seen an override switch in this boat. So I'm going to go ahead and do some wire chasing here. I got the 3 leads right here. I got 13 volts to 1 because we're connected to shore power. So this is a good thing. It's an opportunity for me to figure out what is going on with this boat. And when it comes to bilge pumps, that's pretty important. So the green wire for the manual override isn't even connected to anything. It should be on a switch somewhere, so I could go ahead and override the switch in this. It's not. Furthermore, I do get the 13 volts connected here, no problem. And when I've got these on this SPX flow, Johnson pump, whatever, you put 2 fingers right here and it's supposed to test it. Well, I could put 2 fingers there, and you can't hear that, I'm sure, but there's simply a whining motor. Very quietly whining. It's not plugged up. This spins. Just a piece of junk. So I think I have a second one still, the one that I was concerned about prior. I'm gonna go grab that. I think it's in my car. I really hope it is, and see what that does, because I got to get this bilge emptied. I have a secondary pump, a rule pump in here, which is higher up if things get bad, but this is... Oh, I have the manual too. I can dump this out manual. Okay, so I found my old pump in the car. Unfortunately, when I turn it on, or when I plug it in, it runs nonstop, and that was the original issue. It was running nonstop, so I bought that one in replacement, and I mean it's sealed, so there's nothing, there's no way to get into it that I can find to try to correct it. So I guess for the time being, I'm going to pop this in. At least I can remove everything out of the bilge, pump the bilge out. But then I'm going to go down to the marine store. I bought these at England here in Astoria, and it's been less than a year as far as I recall. See if they'll do anything at all. Who knows? Maybe not, but I'll give it a go. And then maybe buy myself another Rule, a Rule pump instead. Just bite the bullet. So let's get this installed and get this pumped out here. Okay, I'm back. The marine store wouldn't, at least on a Sunday, which makes a lot of sense, they wouldn't take the bad bilge pump out. I'm not real big on Rule devices either, but we'll see if it works. It's the same rating. It's got an integrated switch, which I like, and it looks like we've got an override also, which I will wire. I don't have a switch for it, but I'm going to wire it for an override switch so that we can, if the switch in this thing stops working, at least I have some sort of control over it. But anyways, I'll get that installed and see how we do. Here are a couple things I wanted to show you. This is the new Rule 800 gallons per hour. Of course, if you've got a head, you've got to raise it up. That 800 gallons per hour drops precipitously. This is probably closer to 500 or 600 gallons per hour, but it's certainly okay for a maintainer. So here's the pump that I've got. I labeled the date just because I'm curious. I thought that I installed that one this past November or December, but I'm not sure. So this will help out if this goes bad. Also, but in the hose barb fitting, there is installed a joker valve. And the joker valve is a one-way valve. The water would pump out through here, and you've got this opening that will open to let the water out that way, but won't let it come back in. That just slides right in here, so that's cool because that looks like it may be replaceable. When I bought the Johnson pump 8 months ago, or whatever it was, I didn't replace this. I didn't know there was a valve in it, but you can see, I think. This way is better. Well, I think you can see how bad that valve is in there. It's probably not doing anything at all. I had no idea. So anyways, it's good to check those things, and it's good to know that these pumps come with those kind of joker valves. Whoever owned the boat before me installed a one-way valve in line also. Supposed to be well, I presume it was supposed to be a one-way valve, but there is nothing going on here. There's nothing in there. Looks like there's supposed to be something in there. Anyways, I'll keep using that because I need the extension. Probably I'll just replace this whole hose, but I just don't want to get involved with that this weekend. New pump installed. Let's give it a try. Well, sorry. I tested it. It's working very well. It pumps out real nice, and hopefully it'll continue to do so. Cross my fingers. Okay, a couple little things that I did. Just put a little bump stop right there to keep this from this door from chattering. And then got in here and cleaned this up just a little bit. This wire run. So now I swear I'm going to go put up that mainsail. Okay, well I've got to finally have my mainsail up. It's just it's in the second reef right now, testing that out. And so a question for you about this is slab reefing. Slab reefing setup. You see that the reefing lines come down here to these cheek blocks. I think that's what they are, and up to an eyelet, which is all well and good, but the line clearly crosses over the sail. And you'll see on the other side, I got these pad eyes over here. One back here and one up this way for the second reef on this side. And I wonder if these pad eyes and the cheek blocks should be on the same side so that the foot of the sail can fall cleanly down one side of the boom, and therefore avoid chafing the sail with the line here, because it wants to fall down on top of itself like that. Anyways, I think I'm doing something wrong here. This is the way it was set up. I think I may have to change something, but I'll have to look into that. If you know, please let me know in the comments below. Here's another question I had. I think I've answered it. But when I rigged the reef lines, they went on the inside of the lazy jacks. And I wasn't sure which way it should go, but now that I think of it, I think I want these the reefing lines on the outside of the lazy jacks. Pretty sure that's the best way to avoid chafe. So that's what we'll do. Okay, mainsail bag is back on. You didn't see any of it, but I cleaned and washed the dinghy. I used it yesterday to clean the hull a little bit around the water line. I'm going to sell the dinghy, just too big and awkward for this boat. I'm on a kick to downsize, which I really like. And I must say, one of the things I really like is having removed all those cushions. I saved the covers on the cushions, but look how much room there is in here now. Like, I've got virtually all my tools. I've got the Dodger right there, some extra blankets, line. I feel like I have so much room because I'm not throwing or battling the cushions. I had cockpit cushions and cushions in here. So anyways, that makes me really happy to downsize and to have room to move in such a small boat. It really makes a big difference. Hey, good morning. I'm packed up and ready to go. This is the morning of day 4. I feel like I was fairly productive the last 3 full days. I didn't get what I wanted to get done, but I got a few other things done that came up and I thought were worth taking the time. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you come back again when I post another video, hopefully soon.